got it. All right, perfect. Diffusion en cours. Up. Can I see the image on Zoom? All right, perfect. Bonjour à tous, salut tout le monde. C'est avec plaisir que je vous retrouve aujourd'hui avec notre grand invité Scott Philippe, que vous avez déjà peut-être vu dans des précédents vidéos, précédents live où il était venu justement parler un petit peu d'analyse technique et d'autres choses. Donc, c'était hyper intéressant. Aujourd'hui, il vient justement, non pas pour de l'analyse on-chain comme la dernière fois, mais nous allons parler d'analyse technique. Il va nous montrer des choses que, apparemment, il m'a dit, c'est impossible qu'on les ait vues ailleurs et qui peuvent être très, très, très efficaces, très redoutables. Alors, moi, je ne suis pas spécialement un grand fan de l'analyse technique parce que ça prend du temps, vous le connaissez déjà. Et donc, justement, peut-être que Scott va pouvoir me changer les idées là-dessus. Welcome, Scott. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. It's great pleasure to be here. And you don't know what I'm teaching. So what I'd like to show you today is, it's called price action. And it's an obscure kind of chart reading method that is very, very advanced and much better than most of the chart reading lines on charts, technical analysis that you know.
All right, yeah. So Scott nous dit que justement, il va nous présenter d'autres choses que normalement on ne connaît pas sur l'analyse technique et qui peut être vraiment intéressant, qui peut nous donner vraiment un avantage sur l'investissement. That's perfect. That's what exactly I was saying before. I don't love technical analysis. No, my thing, it takes a lot of time. So I was like, maybe you're going to change my mind on this, and that's going to be interesting stuff.
Okay, so let's. Can you enable screen sharing for me?
Yeah, I'm going to give you the access for that. I think wait, I need to put here, I think. All right, can you try again?
Sure. All right, so perfect. My starting point is classical technical analysis. How many people here know about technical analysis or have some technical analysis knowledge? And we're going to talk about the problems with it first, and then we're going to talk about fixing.
Combien d'entre vous connaissent l'analyse technique aujourd'hui, là, dans le chat, si vous pouvez répondre sur YouTube, du coup, si vous avez des connaissances, à peu près votre niveau, on va dire, s'il est basique, avancé, basique, modéré ou avancé, ou pas du tout, d'ailleurs. Quel est votre niveau? Vous pouvez répondre dans le chat et en attendant, nous allons pouvoir continuer. So I told them to say it in the chat, but as there is a delay, we can continue
sure.
To go on.
So the biggest problem with classical technical analysis is that it's very, very subjective. And what I mean by that is, if I'm drawing trend lines and saying it's broken this trend line, it should go down. If I'm bullish, I draw bullish trend lines. If I'm bearish, I draw bearish trend lines.
Yeah.
And it looks good in the past, but doing it on the right edge of the chart, fucking impossible.
Alors, ce qu'il dit ici, Scott, et c'est quelque chose dans lequel je suis d'accord, c'est que quand on va dessiner une ligne qui va donner la tendance, si on pense que le marché va monter, on va dessiner une ligne qui monte, et si on pense qu'il va baisser, on va dessiner une ligne qui baisse. Donc, c'est toujours un petit peu ce qu'on voit là-dessus qui peut être intéressant. OK?
And other problems with technical analysis is that patterns morph and change into something else. So, for example, right here, this is a very obvious triangle pattern, right? It's definitely going down. And then that triangle changes and then the pattern changes halfway through. So it's never obvious until the end. Like, this is a terrible way to trade. It's a good way to lose all your money. And
so the triangle before was supposed to when you draw it before, it was supposed to go up, right? Or
It's supposed to go down, and then it becomes a rectangle down here, something like.
OK.
There's no up.
Donc, ce qui nous dit ici, c'est que par exemple, on avait justement un triangle qui nous disait que c'était supposé de descendre. Et puis, au final, le triangle, il s'est avéré qu'on s'est retrouvé sur quelque chose qui était en train de monter. Alors, une autre figure qui arriverait qui serait un rectangle. Donc, on ne sait pas, on ne peut pas savoir exactement ce qui va se passer à chaque fois. Mais en tout cas, ce qui est très facile de faire, c'est de toujours lire dans le passé. Donc, c'est pour ça que vous allez voir toujours des vidéos sur YouTube avec le mec qui va dire « Bon, alors, je vais regarder ce qui s'est passé, pourquoi le Bitcoin, il a perdu moins 5 000, pourquoi il a pris plus 10 000. » Et puis, après, il dessine les droites sur quelque chose qui a déjà été fait. C'est un petit peu, si je te disais, quel est le meilleur plan de bataille pour gagner la bataille quand la bataille, elle a déjà passé. C'est un petit peu inutile, mais c'est toujours facile de lire dans le passé et de savoir ce qui serait passé, quoi. So the level of the people is mostly basic and a little bit medium.
Okay, that's good to know. So the other problem is that if we have 10 of us, we're going to draw this trend line in different ways. So I might draw the trend line here. You might draw the trend line up here, and it's broken here. Someone else might draw it from like all the way down here. 20 people are going to get 20 different things, right?
OK. Ici, en fait, ce que nous pouvons voir, c'est que tout le monde pourrait avoir une différente opinion. On pourrait prendre une droite sur un petit axe, sur un grand axe. Enfin bref, 20 personnes différentes auraient 20 opinions différentes. Yeah, I agree with you. And then,
but that's not the real problem with technical analysis, is it doesn't fucking work except in bull markets. So in a bull market, even though this has problems, it's not too bad. It kind of works. But if we go back to 2018, shit, or 2019, shit don't work at all. Like, just nothing works.
Alors, le gros du problème, c'est que l'analyse technique ne fonctionne que pendant le bull market. Et sinon, ça ne sert à rien.
So if we go back to 2017, technical analysis worked pretty well here.
Yeah,
but
easy. But every analysis worked at this point.
Anything worked at that point. You know, buying any random Bitcoin worked. Like, it didn't matter. But as soon as we got here, those same patterns, which worked 80% reliability here, go down to 20% reliability. And that's the real problem. So I want to show you a better way. And let me show you a better way. So we have a whole bunch of information in the price which is not about drawing lines on charts. We have.
So we're not going to draw lines today.
No, we don't draw lines on charts. That's
OK, alors on ne va pas dessiner des droites sur le graphique. Désolé, vous pouvez ranger vos crayons de couleur. You can put back all your colors pen in the bag. And what are we going to do then?
Okay, so before I get off technical analysis, I'll just make one last point, is that not all technical analysis is bad. And the stuff which is much better is the stuff based on horizontal lines. So any technical analysis which is based around a horizontal line, like this is a trading range and you should try and buy at the bottom of a trading range and sell at the top of a trading range, it's almost by definition better. And why is that? Because you and I can only draw a straight horizontal line the same fucking way. Like we can't get 20 different lines, right?
OK, oui. Alors, ce qu'il nous disait Scott ici, c'est qu'en fait, toute l'analyse technique n'est pas mauvaise. La seule qui est bonne, entre guillemets, c'est celle qui est avec des lignes horizontales. Pourquoi? Parce que tout le monde doit faire la même ligne horizontale. Tu ne peux pas choisir, toi, tiens, je vais dire autre chose, je vais dire ça ou ça sur le graphique. Tout le monde a la même ligne horizontale.
So the first thing you want to do when you bring up a chart of any coin is to ask yourself one question. The question is, are we in a trend or are we in a trading range?
OK, donc la première question à se poser dès qu'on ouvre un graphe, c'est est-ce qu'on est dans un trend ou dans un trading range?
Okay,
tendance ou trading range aussi.
Okay, and there's a trick with, is it a trend or is it a trading range? A trend should be obvious to a 5-year-old kid. A trend, that's a fucking trend.
Okay.
A trend should be very obvious. And the way that I think about it is, if there's any doubt or any argument, if you and I can have an argument, it's a trend, it's not a trend, it's a trend, it's not a trend, then it's probably not a trend.
OK. Donc, une tendance devrait être… même un gamin de 5 ans pourrait directement la voir et il ne devrait pas y avoir d'argument sur est-ce que c'est une trend ou est-ce que ce n'est pas une trend, est-ce que c'est une tendance ou pas une tendance. Ça voudrait dire que, eh bien, ça n'en est pas. Donc là, par exemple, on le voit que c'est sûr que c'est une tendance haussière directement. OK.
So let's talk about why those two things are different. There's two and only two theories of why markets behave. There's only two psychologies. One psychology is when we're talking about value. Like if you go to the supermarket and potatoes are too expensive, you buy carrots, right? Like you buy things because they're cheap, right? Buy things because they're cheap, you don't buy them because they're expensive. That's one way. That is trading range behavior. That's what it looks like here, or like here. Oh, it's too cheap. Oh, it's too expensive. I'll sell. Oh, it's too cheap. And trading range markets are characterized by long sequences of bars with lots of overlap with the previous bar. Very few sequences of like up, 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 down, 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 down. It's like up, down, up, down, up, down, two ups, one down, sideways, down. You know, it's just very difficult to read.
Alors, le trading range, ici, en fait, ce que dit Scott, c'est que c'est typiquement les décisions quand tu vas au supermarché, tu dis, bon, bah, j'achète pas des patates, elles sont trop chères, j'achète des carottes à la place. Et c'est ce qui se passe, en fait, c'est qu'à chaque fois, les gens se disent, ah non, c'est trop cher, j'achète pas, ah non, c'est pas assez cher, j'en veux pas. Parce que c'est toujours ce qui nous influence sur le prix. By the way, Donovan said that he loved your shirt, Scott.
Thank you very much. If you do a statistical analysis of the market, almost any market, Bitcoin is crypto is slightly different, but not too much different. Markets are in trading ranges about 87% of the time. But they make 90% of the price moves in the remaining 13% of the price. So that's our experience of crypto, right? It does fucking nothing, years and years and years of doing nothing, and then to the moon. Nothing, and then to the moon. That's how it works, right?
So, wait, yes, I agree totally. So, 90% of the time,
87%.
80?
87% of the time.
87% du temps, en fait, les cryptos sont dans un trading range, donc il ne se passe pas grand-chose. Et puis après, to the moon.
So the remaining 13% of the time is 90% of the price move.
Et les 13 derniers pourcents, en fait, ça représente 97% du changement de prix.
Okay. So how do we trade? When you identify that a market is in a trading range, if we look at, say, this is clearly this is clearly a trading right.
Pendant ce temps-là, n'hésitez pas de mettre un pouce bleu pour le live, afin qu'on puisse avoir un petit peu plus de monde pour échanger.
So the trick and the whole trick to price action trading is that because the psychology of a trading range is different than a trend, the psychology of a trend works very different. So if you think about how you feel when crypto is mooning, you have to get in now or you're going to miss out, right?
Yeah. Alors, la psychologie sur les trading range, donc quand il ne se passe pas grand-chose, justement, elle est totalement différente. Pourquoi? Parce que quand on est sur quelque chose qui est du coup une tendance haussière directement, qu'on est to the moon, bah, la psychologie, c'est OK, il faut que je me lance maintenant, sinon je vais passer à côté.
And it's important to understand that that's very different than the psychology underpinning things back here. Here, if it gets too expensive, you just wait for it to get cheap again. Like no one cares. There's no real emotion. There's no passion. There's no fear. There's no greed. It's just like, oh, I buy carrots or I buy potatoes. Like, who cares?
There's no views on YouTube.
Views nothing. Poor Antoine. He's dying for a like. One lousy fucking like.
Donc, pendant qu'on est en trading range, en fait, il ne se passe pas grand-chose. C'est un peu moins cher, un peu plus cher. Il n'y a pas d'émotions qui sont attachées. Donc, on avance comme ça pendant tout le truc. Et forcément, ce que je disais, il y a aussi moins d'intérêt sur les cryptos sur YouTube.
Now, also important to understand is that the emotion which drives strong trends is that I'm going to miss out. It's fear of missing out and greed. And these things are strong emotions. And strong emotions cause us to do stupid things, right? So,
donc, les émotions qui sont dans les tendances, c'est la peur et greed, c'est l'avarice. L'avarice, c'est en vouloir trop. Et ça, c'est des émotions qui sont fortes. Et les émotions qui sont fortes nous font en général faire des conneries. Tu peux le regarder partout dans ta vie personnelle. Quand les moments où tu as peur, les moments où tu étais trop amoureux, les moments où tu as fait… Bref, peu importe, quand tu es dans des émotions qui sont fortes, l'énervement ou autre, en général, tu peux faire des actions que tu peux regretter après.
So when you see a trend, you should be thinking about buying pullbacks. So the reason this works is, imagine you're a guy who was going to buy some crypto here and you didn't buy, and it goes up and you think, I'll wait for a pullback. The pullback never comes. It goes up a bit more and you go, oh, fuck, I'll wait for a pullback. I missed. Like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Any pullback that comes, you immediately jump in and buy, right? Because you've been waiting for this pullback forever. I wanted to buy back here. I've been waiting and waiting. Finally, I can buy.
Donc, pendant qu'il y a les pullbacks, en fait, les baisses pendant le cycle haussier, on va pouvoir directement acheter dedans quand on est sur une tendance montante.
So when you see a clearly trending market, any pullback is something that you should buy.
Donc, quand on voit un marché qui est en tendance haussière, on devrait à chaque fois acheter.
And
But when will you stop to buy then? If like
I'll show you some patterns for that a bit later.
Donc, il va nous montrer justement après des patterns à utiliser pour arrêter d'acheter quand c'est trop. Quoi.
Okay, so while we're talking about trends, how do you know which trend is going to be like one that goes like this and which trend is just going to be a small trend, like a small move? And one of the ways that we look is we look for a strong kickoff. So let's dump this up to like a weekly time frame so we can go back a bit. Let's go back to let's go back to all of these bull markets.
Alors, comment est-ce qu'on peut identifier qu'on est dans une traîne et pas juste un petit mouvement? Et justement, c'est ce qui va nous montrer maintenant.
So what I want to show you is this is 2013 to 2015. This is when the bull market started, right? Like
2013 à 2015, juste avant le bull market.
And we're going to go through this with all of these. I want to show you the clue that something is going to be an eventual strong bull market. And all bull markets, a statistical analysis of all bull markets will show that virtually every time they kick off very strongly. And what do I mean by kick off strongly? They have a particular pattern, which is very common. The pattern is a sequence of many bars. You can see this bar couldn't break the low of this bar. This bar couldn't break the low of this bar. This bar couldn't break the low of this bar. This bar couldn't break the low of this bar. This bar couldn't break the low of this bar. This bar couldn't break the low of that bar. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks that the bears were so weak. The sellers are so weak they can't push it down even below. They can't even make a dent. So to me, it's like a boxer hitting the guy and it's just doing nothing. Like your punches don't hurt. Like fuck off.
That's why you're wearing this T-shirt today. So how many candles then? The
more the better, but about six is a good start. Now, if you
So
look at,
I think first, I'm going to explain how the candles work because I'm not sure if everyone knows.
Let me go back to that and let me explain. So a white candle is up, a black candle is down.
Une bougie blanche, ça monte, une bougie noire, ça descend.
This part of the candle here is called the upper wick. What this tells us is that it tells a story that the buyers pushed the price all the way up here and then the sellers pushed it back down. So whenever we see an upper wick, it's a sign that sellers tried to take control again. And whenever we see a lower wick, the market tried to go down and then buyers jumped in and pushed it down. This was the first clue that we have buyers trying to come back into the market.
Alors, la partie qu'on voit au-dessus de la bougie, le upward tick, qu'on pourrait dire la mèche, je ne sais pas comment le traduire exactement là, eh bien, ça veut dire qu'en fait, tous les acheteurs ont fait monter le prix jusque-là et les vendeurs ont juste réussi à l'amener au niveau où on se retrouve à la fin. Et because the candle opened with the previous price and closed with the last price, right?
Yes. So, for example, every bar tells a story. For example, this little candle here that you don't notice, this is actually a really important candle in the story because what happened? The sellers tried to push it down, the buyers tried to push it up, and they were very closely balanced because it was a small range. Neither side could push each other out of the way. So what this tells us is that the market, the sellers were in control, the buyers trying to take control, and at this point, the sellers are trying to take back control. At this candle here, which most of you missed, everything is perfectly evenly balanced. Like this is like on a teeter-totter right there.
Mm.
So what price action gives us is each candle tells a story. And
alors, chaque bougie, en fait, nous raconte une histoire. Par exemple, juste avant, le point où il est, Scott, on avait plusieurs bougies blanches et il dit, quand on a plusieurs bougies où on n'arrive pas à redescendre en dessous, c'est-à-dire que les vendeurs n'arrivent pas à battre les acheteurs, parce que c'est ça, en fait, c'est un combat entre les acheteurs et les vendeurs. Il dit, c'est comme un match de boxe. Donc, si le mec, il lui met plein de pain dans la gueule à l'autre, eh bien, à un moment, il va perdre ses moyens. Mais il peut y avoir une reprise. Et là, justement, il y avait une reprise où, du coup, eh bien, les vendeurs reprenaient l'avantage puisqu'on voit plusieurs bougies noires. Alors, elles ne sont pas toutes bien alignées comme on a pu le voir pour les précédentes. Mais on arrive ici à un endroit qui est fatidique où, justement, il dit que cette petite bougie que tout le monde oublie, en fait, raconte quelque chose de très important parce qu'elle dit qu'on est arrivé au même niveau équitable entre les acheteurs et les vendeurs. Donc, c'est-à-dire qu'en gros, là, ce qu'on voit, c'est que les vendeurs, ils n'ont pas réussi à faire descendre le prix plus que ça. Et donc, peut-être que c'est les acheteurs qui vont reprendre après. On va voir.
So, when we look at the start of a move, we're looking for three specific things. The first thing is a retest, which I'm going to cover later because it's complicated. The second thing is we're looking for a string of bars where each bar can't break the previous bar lows, because that tells us that the sellers are very weak. The third thing we're looking for is what's called micro gaps. A micro gap is where the open is above the previous close. So the close here is 231.6, and there's not one here. So the close here is 232.41, and no, that's not an open gap. The close is 60. The open 60, not an open gap. 48, close 48.05. No, there's no opening gaps here. Okay, so there's no opening gaps here.
So what is an open gap? So I understand it clearly and can explain it better.
An open gap is when let me see if I can find one. So, well, it's an opening gap right here. So an opening gap is when the market opens below the previous low. You can see here.
OK. Un gap sur la fermeture, ça veut dire qu'en fait, le marché réouvre à un endroit différent de là où il avait fermé avant. Donc, vous voyez ici la différence.
So it's a reversal setup. What it represents is FOMO. A gap, any gap is FOMO. So here, traders were so bearish that they sold their stuff at the open.
But correct me if I'm wrong, you cannot have that in crypto. You don't have it trading up.
So it's much more difficult to happen in crypto because crypto is open 24 hours, right? But it still happens. And when it happens,
alors, du coup, le cas qu'on a vu juste avant, c'était sur la bourse américaine, le SP500. Et j'ai demandé à Scott, ouais, mais du coup, dans les cryptos, étant donné que c'est 24 heures sur 24, 7 jours sur 7, il a dit que quand même, ça pouvait arriver, mais c'était plus rare.
Yeah, so it's much rarer in crypto, but when you see it, it's very, very significant. So
c'est plus rare, mais par contre, quand on le voit, c'est vraiment significatif.
For example, the close here, 32,138, close 32,300. Okay, so here in the last 6 days, you can see our close here is 32,388 cents. And no, that's not opening gap. Close. So there's a small opening gap here. It's a very rare thing in crypto, but when you see it, it's very significant. And so what we're seeing in the last 6 days is exactly the same thing we saw at the kickoff to the previous bull market, right, in 2015. So this right here is extremely significant price action. This is a sign saying that the bull market is really going to come roaring back.
So say that again.
This pattern here, where each bar couldn't break the previous bar low, is exactly what we saw way back in.
Donc, à chaque fois qu'on voit en fait les barres qui arrivent, les bougies qui n'arrivent pas à battre le niveau bas en dessous, c'était quelque chose qui… Voilà, ici, on l'a vu ici.
Exactly like this. And this was the exact moment. This was the bottom of the bear market in 2015 that became the 2017 run. This is how bull markets kick off. And they kick off in all markets the same way. So for example, this is the stock market right now on a daily chart. You can see we have this opening gap down. It opens at the lows, closes at the highs. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars before it breaks at a bar low, and obviously a very significantly strong trending move. If we look at right back at where this move started back in 2018, you can see the same thing. We get lots of stretches of bars without breaking the bar low. This is when you see this at the start of a move, you can expect that move to go for a long time. That's a sign that you can expect like multiple legs, it to come onto daily and weekly time frames. Now, how do trends end? Trends end in 2 ways. They either run out of steam, where the candles get smaller and smaller, like.
Du coup, ce qu'il est en train de nous dire ici, c'est que quand on voit ça, justement, ces suites de bougies, c'est qu'en général, on va être sur une bonne tendance. Mais cette tendance peut s'arrêter justement quand les bougies deviennent de plus en plus petites. Sinon, ça pourrait être la tendance qui continue de monter, où on voit plusieurs, donc ce qu'on appelle des jambes. Je ne sais pas si c'est la traduction exacte pour le terme legs en trading. Donc, du coup, qu'on voit des jambes quand ça va être une petite cassure, une baisse, mais ça va reprendre toujours sur la montée. Et si nous voyons justement des bougies qui deviennent de plus en plus petites, là, comme nous dit Scott, eh bien, en général, ça veut dire que la tendance va s'arrêter.
So one of the unique thing about crypto markets is that a crypto bull market has trends end in two ways. One way is when the candles get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then it just runs out of steam. The other way,
translate that part.
Okay. Do you want to translate it?
No, I translated the first part. I'm waiting for the second.
So the other way that trends run out of that end is the candles get so big, it's an extreme of emotion.
OK. So, et la deuxième, parce que le premier cas, donc du coup qu'on a vu, qui fait que en fait cette tendance haussière va s'arrêter, que la tendance va s'arrêter, c'est quand les bougies deviennent de plus en plus petites, donc il y a de moins en moins d'écart. Donc en gros, on est un peu, c'est en fait on n'a plus de vapeur dans la machine, quoi, on n'a plus d'essence dans la machine. Tu prendras l'analogie que tu veux. Et le deuxième cas, c'est quand la bougie, elle est beaucoup trop grosse et donc là, les émotions sont trop fortes. Et si on reprend l'analogie du train, du coup, eh bien là, on a pété la machine, quoi.
So the primary difference between crypto markets and traditional markets like stocks and forex is that in the history of crypto bull markets have never ended running out of steam. They always end on the big candles.
Et le truc particulier dans les cryptos, c'est que ça n'est jamais arrivé que la tendance haussière des cryptos s'arrêtait parce qu'elle n'avait plus assez de vapeur, donc les bougies devenaient de plus en plus petites. Elle s'est arrêtée au moment où on a eu un pic énorme.
So this is 2017. You can see the candles started small but ended up very big.
Alors, on voit en 2017 que les bougies ont commencé petites et sont arrivées super grosses à la fin.
Don't forget that big candles mean big emotions, mean huge FOMO, mean like incredible profits, mean strong emotions. And strong emotions, people can't sustain strong emotions for too long.
Oui, Tino Nama, on est sur du weekly en ce moment, on est par semaine. Et donc, ce qu'il faut bien se rappeler, c'est que quand il y a des émotions qui sont fortes, les personnes ne peuvent pas garder cette émotion pendant longtemps. C'est impossible. Donc, c'est pour ça qu'en général, il y a de la casse après. Donc, c'est ce que nous avons vu justement en 2017.
So the big advantage of crypto compared to stock markets is that we know how the story ends. It ends the same way every time. It ends with people going crazy and giant big candles at the end.
On sait que les cryptos finissent toujours de la même façon, avec une grosse bougie à la fin et les gens deviennent complètement euphoriques et ça casse après. Donc, ça finit toujours comme ça. But let me ask you a question. So,
Sure.
For example, how do you know that it would have ended at this candle in December and not like the previous one? Like, how could you know that, all right, this one was the top one and not the one before?
The only way you can tell that this one is the top is when you get a candle that's so big, it's like stupid big. When you see that, at the longer the move has been going for. So in 2017, it made 60% of the move in the last month.
60% des profits ont été faits dans le dernier mois des cryptos. Donc, c'est toujours comme ça que ça se termine dans les cryptos. C'est toujours le dernier mois où il y a les plus gros profits qui sont faits.
Look at this is 2014. It made 90% of the price move of the whole bull market in the last 30 days.
Donc, on voit à chaque fois, hein, les 30 derniers jours, ça reproduit bien ça, où il y a tous les gains qui sont faits dans le dernier mois.
And you can see that the candles go normal. When the candles go stupid big, this is always near the end. You can never say the exact end, but it's always…
Yeah. On ne peut pas savoir à chaque fois quand ça va être le moment, mais on voit que quand les bougies deviennent complètement énormes, il y a quelque chose. I can see that actually, like, if you check this one, the previous candle just before is massive, and it was the same case in 2017.
So, yeah, so this is usually a sign that we're like, you can't pick the exact end, but it's like we're coming close to the end. Like this is the final chapter in the series. This is the final.
But this is also like where there is a lot of money to make, because if you sell just at the moment of this candle, you go out with half of the profits. Like you sell at $600 instead of 1,000 something.
And don't forget, by the time you're here, you're not in Bitcoin anymore. You FOMO'd into these terrible shit coins. You're riding fucking Doge and all this bullshit. Like, and those things are going.
N'oublions pas qu'à ce moment-là, quand le Bitcoin est en train de monter comme ça, nous sommes rentrés dans tout le palmarès des shitcoins, le Dogecoin, le French croissant et j'en passe à des meilleurs.
Oh, wonderful asset. So you see in the previous bull market, this is weekly. Let's change it back to daily. So let's look at this one. This is the one. This is the bull market before. You can see it starts off normal, and then when the candles go really huge, that's the end, right?
So now we are which year?
This is 9th of April.
13. Donc on voit la bougie, bon, pareil. Yeah, I mean, but this is pretty easy to see, like.
Very easy to see, but people take leave. What is a big candle? A big candle is everyone getting excited and buying or selling all at once, right? Like only people together can move the market that much. And so when everyone's moving the market together, people are going crazy. And if you think about how we make money in this, we make money from people's craziness. Like that's the edge, is that people are stupid. That's what we're exploiting. Like people are stupid. They're stupid in the same way. We're every bit as stupid as we were 10,000 years ago. And no matter how smart you are, you're still fucking stupid. Like I'm still stupid. Sir Isaac Newton. You ever heard the story about Isaac Newton?
Isaac Newton. I'm not sure. I heard about one that one of like those guys, like he invested in the South Sea Company. Yeah, I heard about that one. There was also a French guy who invested in the Mississippi one, I think, in the Mississippi.
Yeah. This happens again and again. That's right. So what he did is.
I'm going to translate quickly in between.
Sure.
Donc, ce qu'il dit, Scott, c'est que de toute façon, quand on va avoir les bougies qui sont énormes, on est toujours au sommet de la stupidité. Les gens sont stupides, je suis stupide. Même si on est intelligent, on est stupide. Parce que, par exemple, justement, Isaac Newton, qui est quelqu'un d'intelligent, eh bien, Scott est en train de le montrer. Il est tombé aussi dans les pièges de la bulle. Là, c'était la mer du Sud, South Sea Bubble.
Okay. So Isaac Newton bought here. He bought here. He was good. It went up to here and he sold. He was very happy.
Donc, il a acheté au premier endroit où Scott a montré, puis il a vendu ensuite à 200. Il était très content.
He was rich. But what happened is the market kept going up. And here,
le marché a continué de monter.
He FOMO'd back in.
Et il a eu peur. Il s'est relancé dedans. FOMO, fear of missing out, la peur de rater. C'est connu.
And then,
comme la peur de rater les vidéos de Rousseau les bons tuyaux, qui est très connu aussi. C'est pour ça qu'il faut s'abonner, cliquer sur le bouton s'abonner, cliquer sur la cloche pour être sûr de ne rien rater, bien sûr.
And he wrote it up. He wrote it all the way down. And
il l'a ridé jusqu'en haut et puis jusqu'en bas et il l'a revendu moins cher que.
He was literally broke.
Et il est devenu pauvre.
Smartest guy in the world fucked himself.
Et le mec le plus intelligent au monde, il s'est foutu dans la merde.
So this behavior that we this behavior that people get excited at tops and scary at bottoms, this is what we're trying to exploit. So let me go back to how we do this. So the first thing we do is say, are we in a trend or are we in a trading range? A trading range doesn't have to be a neat rectangle either. It can be a weird shape. But a trading range is price that looks like this, where anything that's confusing is almost certainly a trading range. the biggest thing that can improve your trading is when you see a trading range, you only have an advantage at the top and the bottom, somewhere at the top and somewhere at the bottom of the trading range. It doesn't have to be exact. In the middle, you have no edge. It doesn't matter how good a trader you are. If you buy and sell here, 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 you're going to get fucked. That's really
Maintenant, nous rentrons dans le vif du sujet. Et tu as un avantage dans les trading range qu'au moment où eh bien, nous sommes en haut d'un trading range ou en bas d'un trading range. Ça va être vraiment dans ces moments-là. Donc, c'est pour ça que les trading range, comme on l'a dit tout à l'heure, pour ceux qui nous ont rejoints en cours de route ou qui ont un petit peu oublié, hein, ça peut arriver comme ça peut m'arriver, eh bien, justement, on va dessiner ces trading range avec des lignes horizontales, ce qui fait que 20 personnes qui regardent le graphique vont dessiner les mêmes 20 lignes, enfin, du coup, 40 lignes. Et du coup, ce qui fait que eh bien, tout le monde est d'accord au moins pour ça là-dessus.
And remember, if you're not sure is it a trading range, then it's probably a trading range.
Et si vous n'êtes pas sûr que c'est un trading range, c'est que c'est probablement un trading range.
Yeah, almost certainly. Now, how do you trade in trading ranges? How do you trade in trends? A coin can go 100x, right? So in a trend, it makes sense to hold for a big win, right? But in a trading range, you can't get 100x. What you want is a small win. And instead of using market orders, you want to use targets.
Alors, dans le trading range, en fait, on va pas chercher des gros profits à x100 comme on pourrait avoir pendant qu'on est en tendance, mais on va chercher des plus petits profits.
Okay. So when you trade in trading ranges, you always use targets, and you only ever buy at the bottom of trading ranges and sell at the top. So let me show you a useful setup for trading ranges.
Je vais te montrer. So how much money can you make in trading range? Like, what will be looking to do?
That's a really good question. 80% of trading range breakouts fail. So the market has tried to break down from the trading range. You can make quite a lot of money on trading range, especially with leverage if you're using like finance futures. You get a very strong risk return at the right point. So let me show you how you do it anyway.
Donc, ce qu'il disait ici, c'est qu'en fait, en général, les trading range, ils restent sur la hausse. Donc, c'est un truc qui est assez safe. Mais bon, les profits vont être plus petits, sauf si tu commences à faire avec l'effet de levier. Bon, là, il faut un niveau plus avancé quand même. Nous n'allons pas faire ça de suite.
So a technical term, a spike low is a low with a higher low to the left of it and a higher low to the right of it.
Donc, une des règles, c'est le spike low avec une grande bougie qui descend et une autre montante ici.
So this is a spike low. This is a spike low. This is a spike low.
Okay, spike low is every time there's a candle that change color.
No, a spike low is every time there's a candle with a low with a higher low to the left of it and a higher low to the right of it.
Ah, ok, c'est à chaque fois qu'il y a une bougie, donc ce que j'ai dit avant était mauvais, c'est à chaque fois qu'il y a une bougie qui est avec eh bien, une mèche en bas qui est plus grande à gauche que celle de gauche et que celle de droite. Donc, une bougie qui descend et qui a une mèche qui descend qui est plus grande que celle de gauche et celle de droite.
So I'm going to teach you this is a fake out setup that you can use again and again and again. So element 1 is a spike low. 2, the first candle to break that spike low. Setup is complete. You place your buy order 1 tick of candle high, stop loss 1 tick, low, candle low. And let me show you how that works. So with me, when the drawings. So here is our spike low. This is the first candle. Where is the first candle to break this spike low? It's
Alors, si vous ne comprenez pas tout de suite, ne vous étonnez pas, c'est normal, vous pouvez regarder à nouveau et nous allons peut-être comprendre après. Hein. C'est normal de ne pas toujours comprendre ce qu'on nous explique direct. Hein, parce que moi, par exemple, là, je ne comprends pas tout maintenant. Et peut-être que je vais comprendre après.
So we go long here and we place our stop loss here. Here. And you can see if we went long right here, we would have got a win. Our stop loss wasn't touched. That works in reverse too. We have a spike high. Actually, let me find some. So you can see it here, a spike low. The first candle to break that spike low, we go long here, we place our stop loss here.
OK. Donc, en fait, dès qu'on voit les spike low, donc on a dit, c'est quoi? C'est une bougie qui a une mèche vers le bas qui est plus grande que la mèche qui était à gauche et plus grande que la mèche qui était à droite. Donc, spike, c'est un pic en fait et un pic vers le bas, quoi, hein. Si on traduit spike low en français, c'est ce que ça nous donne. Et du coup, après ça, on place son trade une fois qu'on voit que… So, can you go on the docs again? I'm not sure how to… First, cannot. OK, setup complete. Place buy order, one tick above the candle bar. High stop loss, one tick below candle bar. OK, donc nous avons spike low ici. Et donc, at the first bar, actually, that break the previous spike low. That's what you say, right?
Yes, the first bar to break the previous bar.
Donc, la première barre qui va en fait casser le spike low qu'il y avait eu avant. Donc, on voit bien qu'ici, en fait, on peut dessiner la droite du spike low. Et en fait, ici, elle a été cassée. Et donc, à partir de ce moment-là, nous allons acheter et mettre un stop loss au plus bas du spike low précédent. Ce qui est assez simple à faire. Seems quite easy.
It's only easy because the market type is matched to. If we're in a trading range, you have a very strong edge at the bottom of the trading range and at the top of the trading range. But in the middle of the trading range, this doesn't work at all. So it's only at the bottom.
Donc, c'est en fait, ça fonctionne bien que dans certains cas, quoi, parce que quand tu es en milieu du trading range, ça ne va pas fonctionner. Et c'est que quand tu es sur la fin du trading range.
And why does it work? It needs a reason to work. It can't work because it's lines on charts. That's bullshit, right? It works because the psychology of a trading range is different. The psychology of a trading range is it's too cheap, I'm going to buy it. It's too expensive, I'm going to sell it. And that psychology is fundamentally different than FOMO, I've got to buy it now or I'm going to miss out.
Donc, la psychologie est complètement différente sur le trading range puisque c'est quand c'est pas cher, on se dit « OK, bon, vas-y, j'en achète ». Et quand c'est on fait « Bon, bah, je vais vendre, c'est trop cher ». Ce qui est complètement différent de la psychologie quand on est sur une tendance, puisque là, on va faire, il faut que j'en achète maintenant, sinon je vais passer à côté.
So let's talk about some more fundamental concepts. Some drawings. If we look at this trending move,
And someone say, I appreciate Scott so much. He's a really good master. Look at that, beautiful.
Artiste. Okay. What's the first thing that we see? Big moves at the start. This is getting smaller, smaller, and smaller, right?
Des grands mouvements au début et après de plus en plus petits.
The way to interpret this is that this market is running out of steam. It's
Et
like
nous avons ce marché qui est en train de perdre la vitesse, perdre de la vitesse.
And don't forget, cryptocurrency markets are unique in that they never end this way. Never ever in the history of crypto markets has a bull market ended like this, not once.
Et rappelez-vous bien que les cryptos ne finissent jamais comme ça depuis toute leur histoire. Ils ne finissent jamais par ça. Les cryptos, de toute façon, de la façon dont c'est fait, c'est un investissement qui génère des bulles et qui générera des bulles pendant un moment. I added up that crypto is an asset that is made to create bubbles, and we create bubbles for a while.
And there's a reason why it has to happen that way. It's because there's limited supply, they're not making any more coins, and more buyers than sellers, it has to go up. So it will always end with super FOMO.
Et justement, le truc qui fait que les cryptos, c'est toujours comme ça, c'est que c'est un asset qui est à quantité limitée. Donc, il n'y aura pas plus de crypto que ce qu'il y a, enfin, sur le Bitcoin. Donc, c'est ça, il y a de plus en plus d'acheteurs à chaque fois.
And this is not FOMO. This is not what FOMO looks like. FOMO
Et
looks
là,
like
c'est pas ça de la FOMO. C'est pas ça que ça ressemble. There was a little bit of FOMO from previous investors.
It felt like FOMO.
Like but it was not.
Like FOMO, but it's not. This is nothing. This is like an entree. The main course is still to come.
I think there was a FOMO from people who invested and lost money in 2017.
There was a lot of that, but what you're going to see is.
But it was not like they quit their job to become a crypto trader.
Yeah, it's very different. It's just like it's really not the same. So the advantage of crypto is that we know that crypto will end with one of these big candles where it goes 30% in a day or something like that. Like that's how it ends every time. It's like crazy money.
On sait que les cryptos vont toujours avoir quelque chose avec
so let's
une
talk
montée
about
énorme.
When do you know this leg of the move is over? So we're going up, down, up, down, up, down. What do you notice about this? Every low is higher than the previous low.
Donc, à chaque fois, la baisse elle est plus grosse que la précédente.
So a technical definition of a bull market is a market that's making higher highs and higher lows.
Say that again?
A technical definition of a bull market is a market that's making higher highs and higher lows. That's the standard definition.
Le point technique d'un bull market, c'est qu'il va faire une hausse plus forte et une baisse plus forte que la précédente.
Okay, so let's look at when this pattern breaks. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. At this moment, there's no sign of trouble, right? Like the bull market is still on.
Still on the losing steam, yeah.
The first clue is when we broke this low. If the bull market is strong, we shouldn't break this low. Well, we did. If the bull market is on, we should make a high higher than this high. It should do this. So what you do is when you see a bull market and you see the first low, draw a line under it here. when it crosses here, this is your oh shit point. Because it breaks the pattern. This point, okay. This point is the point you know the pattern is broken.
Bien vu, JC. Donc là, on voit quand le pattern, en fait, il est brisé à ce moment-là, il a été cassé à ce moment-là. Donc, c'est à ce moment-là qu'en fait, il fallait se poser la question, quoi. Dire qu'on est sorti de cette tendance haussière. Donc, justement,
this is still kind of subjective, right? Like this is all in that technical analysis bullshit where we need
I mean, yeah, I agree. Subjective and it's easy to see in the back, right?
Easy to see in the back. So let's change that from easy to see into the back into a real rule that we can rely on.
Alors, justement, ce que dit Scott, c'est que bon, là, c'est toujours un petit peu bullshit du mec de technical analysis. C'est facile de regarder dans le passé. Et donc, voyons justement comment transformer ça en règle. Se faire avoir, non, parce qu'il y en a marre. Il y en a marre.
So we're going to put rules around this so that we take away our capacity to bullshit ourselves. Because don't forget, you will completely lie to yourself at a market time. You will completely bullshit yourself and fuck yourself every time, no matter how good you are.
Donc, il faut suivre des règles parce que sinon, on n'arrive jamais dans cet investissement et à chaque fois, vous allez vous faire avoir. Et ça, c'est vrai, je suis 100% d'accord. À chaque fois que j'ai perdu, c'est que je n'ai pas suivi des règles. C'est comme ça. Malheureusement, c'est aussi simple que ça, mais c'est ça qui fonctionne.
The first element of the setup, we have 3 elements in the setup. First element is the highest high in 10 bars.
Alors, nous avons 3 éléments. Le premier élément, la highest high in 10 bars, donc le plus haut niveau en 10 bars. Bars, will you always take weekly or?
It works on daily, weekly. It works on small time frames. How I actually make my money during the day is I do it on 2-minute charts. Like this is like.
But because you do this on Forex, right?
Yeah, I do this on Forex with 2-minute charts, daily charts, weekly charts. We'll show a bunch of examples. I'll show you a bunch now. So okay. the elements of the setup. First of all, highest high in 10 bars. Second element is one or more lower closes without breaking the high. Let's take all these drawings off. Let's look at weekly charts just because it'll be easier. Okay. Highest high in 10 bars. Everyone agree that's the highest high in 10 bars?
Yes.
We need element 2. One or more lower closes without breaking that high. So here we have 2 lower closes without breaking this bar high. The third element to complete the setup.
Donc deux fermetures qui ne cassent pas la barre la plus haute juste avant.
So the last element, we need one or more higher closes without breaking the bar high in 1. So it's element 1, highest high in 10 bars. Element 2, one or more lower closes. Element 3, one or more higher closes. How do we trade this? First of all, we don't want to guess. So you don't know the market's going down. What this tells us is that the market is susceptible to weakness. So it means that like a pebble that can become an avalanche, it means that at this point, the market is vulnerable, off balance.
Donc, ce que ça nous dit ici, can you go a little bit more on the right, please,
Sure.
of the screen? Ce que ça nous dit ici, quand on voit ça justement, donc, and can you show me again the rule, the point number 3? Thanks. Donc, one or more lower close without breaking the high. So, quand on a 1 ou 2 fermetures qui ne cassent pas la haute et quand on en a 1 en plus qui ne casse pas la hausse. So, actually, rule number 2 and 3 are the same, no?
Opposite. So we need 1 highest
One
close,
low, okay.
One
One
low.
low, two low, one
and
high that doesn't break the previous high.
doesn't break this high.
OK. Donc,
Okay.
c'est quand on a un qui monte, qui ne casse pas la montée précédente.
Now, the way we trade this is if we don't get a fill, if the market doesn't fall, we move it up to the next bar low. So here. And this is our point.
So, say that again. We move
So,
it to…
so this is a setup to go short or exit your long positions. But we need the market to go down to break here, to trigger, right? It hasn't triggered, so we put it on the next bar. And now we get short here. We get a slightly different entry.
OK, donc une fois qu'on a passé cette étape, on remonte la barre et on passe en fait en short, quoi. On est OK. Là, on parie sur la baisse.
I'm going to show you a bunch of examples, but this setup occurs at about 90% of tops and 90% of bottoms. So if you pick
90%?
Look right here.
OK, no, it was just to be sure that I hear right.
Yeah.
Donc, ce setup, en fait, il fonctionne dans 90% des cas sur les hausses et les baisses.
So this is the coronavirus. This is the bear market bottom in 2018.
2018, le marché de 2018, la baisse.
Lowest low in 10 bars. Element 1. So it's reversed for a buy.
Put my desk up.
So for a buy, it's not the highest high in 10 bars.
Donc, ce n'est pas tout à fait la même chose pour la vente et pour la montée. L'achat à la hausse.
For a buy, 1, lowest low in 10 bars. 2, 1 or more higher closes without breaking the low of 1. And 3, 1 or more lower closes, which is the retest without breaking the low in 1. So let's look at the…
Donc, pour acheter lowest low 10 bars, donc les barres les plus basses sur les 10 dernières barres. Ensuite, eh bien, une barre ou plus qui ne casse pas la baisse, donc l'inverse. Hein. Et enfin, une barre ou plus à la baisse qui ne casse pas le bas de la règle numéro 2.
Okay, so if we look at, let's see a couple of examples. So this was the 2017 top, right?
Okay.
Let's walk it through. 2017. Highest high in 10 bars, element 1, right?
10 bars.
Definitely highest high in 10 bars.
Yeah. Okay, so we count the bars that are going low as well. They don't have to be in the row.
Yeah. No, they don't have to be in a row. So this is the highest high in 10 bars.
Oh, okay.
Element 1. Element 2, lower close. Element 3, higher close without breaking the high here. Now this is at 1st of January 2018. Sell short here. Place your stop loss.
Nous avons bien les deux suites de barres qui représentent la fin, hein, comme on voit.
Place your stop loss here and look what happened.
On met son stop loss.
Okay, now let's see the exact same thing in reverse at the lows.
Donc maintenant, regardons à la baisse ce que ça donne.
Lowest low in 10.
Inversant. Donc là, on voit sur 10 barres le plus bas, ouais. Yes, it's not as gradual as the other one, as we have a little bit of of a flat face, a flat period of time, but yeah.
Well, this was you remember this, right? This was 2018. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But at extremes, lowest low in 10 bars, highest close, lowest lower close, without breaking this bar low, we go long here.
Donc, on se met sur la phase d'achat ici, à cet endroit.
And the stop loss is here. And you can see it went crazy. At this top, you can see again, highest high in 10 bars, lower close, higher close, short here, stop loss here. And so this setup isn't as magical as it appears to at a glance. This only works at extremes of emotion.
Donc, ce système fonctionne le mieux au moment en fait des émotions extrêmes. Donc, le moment où on a le plus peur ou le moment où on va faire le plus. Donc, là, on a vu pareil sur la baisse. À ce moment-là, on pouvait faire exactement la même chose en suivant ces règles qui sont assez simples. Hein.
But fortunately, we know that crypto provokes extreme emotions in people. So this is a very, very powerful setup for crypto trading. This is the best one.
Et comme nous le savons, les cryptos engendrent des émotions qui sont très fortes. Je le sais, hein, je reçois des messages d'insultes quand ça baisse, un petit peu de messages d'amour quand ça monte. Et ça va être toujours le cas. Donc, c'est pour ça que ce système-là va être du coup très, très efficace en crypto.
And the most powerful way to use this, I'm going to show you now. So can you pick an altcoin that you want to trade? And we'll go.
Let's trade Matic.
Sure. Okay. So the first thing I will say about crypto is that when you chart cryptos in US dollars or tethers, some of the movement is just because Bitcoin is going up or Ethereum is going up, right? So it distorts things. So it's actually easier to build trading systems when you chart against either Bitcoin or Ethereum because it pulls the whole market out of it.
OK. Donc là, ce qu'il est en train de dire, c'est plus simple en fait de baser son système de trading sur le Bitcoin ou Ethereum parce que c'est ce qui donne la direction du marché.
So the most powerful way to use this is two ways. The first way is anytime you are definitely in an uptrend, and just change it into days here. So by here, I think you're pretty sure that you're in an uptrend, right?
Yeah.
The easiest way to use this is off a pullback. So what I mean is you can change this from the lowest low in 10 bars to just any reasonable pullback. And you can make that by, say, putting a moving average, any reasonable moving average that you like that the number doesn't really matter. You could, like a 20 would be fine, or anything is fine. Like a 20 is fine. And anytime it touches this, say that is the same as the lowest low in 10 bars and look for a higher close and then a lower close long here, stop loss here. That is the most powerful way to use this setup. you can see that once you get that touch, higher close, lower close, long here, win. Touch, higher close, lower close, long here, win. And you can see when the daily candles get very, very big, anytime that you're trading a crypto and you see one candle that's like the biggest bigger than like 10 other candles on the screen, you should exit at least half your position straight away on close, right here.
Donc, dès qu'on voit la plus grosse bougie, en fait, on devrait, à la fermeture, sortir la moitié, quoi.
Almost certainly for that, like if you're a short-term trader, that is, like almost certainly you're going to have a couple of weeks at least of doing nothing. So you can see here, it did a couple of weeks, broke the low here again, and then we have higher close, lower close, long here, stop loss here, and that stop loss is never triggered. Lowest low, higher close, lower close, long here, stop loss here. And then once again, you get this massive candle. That's a sign to exit some of your position there. And that was the end.
Okay.
And you can see...
But we should focus that on Bitcoin and Ethereum. That would be better.
So it's very difficult to make any money out of Matic if Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't going. In fact, almost impossible. Which is another reason that technical analysis is mostly bullshit, because they're only looking at one thing. You've got to look at really 50% of Matic is due to Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want you to look
I'm coming back in a second.
Sure.
Hop. Sorry, désolé tout le monde. Je devais m'absenter de ce qu'on...
Okay, so let's look at Matic again. We're plotting Matic BTC.
Yes.
Lowest low in 10 bars, higher close, lower close. That's a buy signal. So,
donc on voit encore le pattern qui se reproduit, hein, ici qu'on a les bougies les plus basses en 10 fois, puis on a la cassure, puis on a le changement comme on a eu juste avant. Are you trying to share me the document? You can do this later.
Okay,
On aura le document plus tard.
Okay. Now, you can see that we have the same setup at the top, highest high in 10 bars, lower close, higher close. But look at the difference between the top and the bottom. Small candles at the bottom, big candles at the top. And that's very important to understand. And why?
Petite bougie avant et grande bougie au top.
Big candles are big emotion. just the same way as your girlfriend can't stay angry at you forever, tomorrow she's not going to be angry. You can't stay with FOMO for too long. FOMO is like a sign that like pretty soon, like we're going to go.
Donc, dès que la bougie elle est très grande, c'est que l'émotion elle est super forte et elle ne peut pas rester longtemps comme ça. C'est comme par exemple si ta petite amie ou ton petit ami est énervé contre toi, il va pas le rester tout le long. Ça va s'arrêter à un moment.
The last thing that I want to discuss before we go is in the crypto ecosystem, it's very important when a market kicks off, the first coins to start running out of the gate. They're very, very important. So, for example, in the last bull run, the first coin out of the gate was like Polkadot, things like that, right? And then later on.
So, can you say that again? I'm not sure if I get the right thing.
It's very important to notice, if we look at a bunch of different coins, it's probably easiest to illustrate. Hey, we look at Matic, let's look at Uni. You can see how Uni is not as strong as Matic. Hasn't quite done the same thing that Matic has done, right?
Yes.
What's some other coins? So Sushi had this behavior earlier, but it's still going down. That's not as strong. So what the coins that you want to buy coming off a pullback are the first coins out of the gate. So the way I explain it is the race isn't always to the swift, the battle isn't always to the strong, but that's the way to bet.
That's a complicated one.
Okay.
I saw that one, but it's like
the coins that you want to buy are the ones that move first. They're so this coin.
Les cryptos qu'on veut acheter sont celles qui vont bouger le premier. So what you're saying is like they're going to move first, like in the case of a bear market, or you?
No, only in a bull market. So
only in the bull market.
So let me explain what I mean. So right now you think that the bear phase is over and it's a bull market again, right? That's what you think. And you've got, let's say you have 5 Bitcoins and you're trying to decide, what do I buy? What do I buy? What do I buy?
Yeah.
What should you buy? Not the coins you like, because that's shit. That's just garbage. The coins that you should buy are the coins that are moving first. Why should you do that? Because crypto is a popularity contest. The coin starts moving and makes it onto the top gainer list. It goes up even more. People start noticing it. Oh, fuck, Matic's moving.
OK. Yeah. Donc, les cryptos qu'il faudrait acheter, ce ne sont pas les cryptos qu'on apprécie, qu'on trouve intéressantes. C'est acheter les premières cryptos qui sont en train de bouger. Pourquoi? Parce que c'est elles qui vont écrire l'histoire, c'est elles qui vont être plébiscitées partout. Tout le monde va commencer à en parler. Il va y avoir plus en plus d'articles et des vidéos, des machins. Bref, tout le monde va rentrer dans ce phénomène de FOMO où on va se retrouver avec comme Sushi ici, par exemple.
So give me a couple of other coins and we'll have a look and you'll see.
Well, if we're in Sushi, we could check Pancake.
Sorry, what is Pancake?
Pancake Swap. It's the it's cake BTC. Yeah.
So this has still done nothing. So this is not a good coin to buy today.
No.
So let's look at some others.
Compound.
Sorry?
Compound CMP, a DeFi coin. Wait, is it the right one?
BTC?
Compound Finance. It's probably COMP.
Okay, still, you can see it's done nothing yet. Still going down. Well, actually, that's not true. It moved off the lows first. Hang on. Okay, so this moved way earlier than anything else. This moved back on 26th of June. So this is a coin that's a really good coin to buy because it moved first. So one of the things you want to do is when you're sure the bottom is in, go back and look what moved first. What is still crap? What moved first? The things that move first have a head start in the race, and they're going to continue to streak ahead.
Someone is asking for Elrond.
Sorry?
Elrond. This one is a bit popular in France, but
how do I spell
not
it?
so much elsewhere. EGLD.
Okay, still doing. Okay, so it came out pretty strongly out of the gates early, and it's pulled back. Let's compare it to Bitcoin. So it was strong early, and now Bitcoin is stronger. This is still pretty good because it moves first. Moving first is a big advantage.
Donc, elle bouge en premier, la crypto. On voit qu'elle bouge avant le Bitcoin.
What you want, and the last thing I'll end off is the size of the coins makes a big difference. So,
la taille des cryptos fait la différence. So the size is important.
Very important, because after, what has crypto been like the last 2 months? You've just been like, wake up, bam, bam, bam. No one is feeling like taking a big risk, right? Everyone is very cautious. The odds are very strong that people will put their money in what they think are the safe coins. That's why Bitcoin goes first. People think it's safer, right?
Yeah.
I want to be back in crypto. I don't want to take too many risks. So now is not a good time to really buy tiny, tiny coins. Now is a good time to buy Matic, Uniswap, things that are reasonable size. People only start feeling confident enough to buy little coins once the bull market's been going for a month or two.
Donc, c'est pas le moment là d'aller acheter tous les shitcoins peut-être, parce qu'il faut attendre qu'il y ait la confiance de nouveau dans le Bitcoin, parce que c'est une fois qu'il y a la confiance vraiment dans le Bitcoin que les gens ils vont commencer à étaler un petit peu leurs bénéfices et commencer à acheter des shitcoins.
And when the really bad shitcoins, like the shitcoins that are actual scams, when they start going up, it's not the end, but it's close to the end. You can say that like we're 3 or 4 weeks away from the end.
Donc, on peut voir qu'il va toujours y avoir 2 à 3 semaines de décalage entre les deux.
Cool,
All right, Scott?
Any questions? Or?
Does anyone have any question in the chat?
I have a course in this stuff, and anyone who's bought any of your courses, I'll give it to them for free. So you just send me a list, and I mean, they have to speak English, obviously, but so if you want.
Bon, vous avez de la chance, ceux qui ont déjà le système AWCE chez moi, eh bien, je vais pouvoir vous offrir la formation de Scott qui est là-dessus, une formation complète. Bon, c'est en anglais, mais vous pouvez avoir accès.
If you want my price action courses, just let Antoine know. If you've actually bought the course, I'll give it to you for free. It's a friend of mine. So.
Donc, si voilà, vous avez de la chance. Thank you a lot for this, Scott. So, yeah. Donc, tout le monde qui veut la formation, qui a déjà le système AWCE, qui justement permet de lui voir les mouvements comme ça sur les courbes directement avec le système en automatique, pas avoir à le faire manuellement, qui va sélectionner chaque semaine les cryptos à avoir dans son portefeuille. Si vous n'avez pas vu justement la série de vidéos à ce sujet, allez-y, parce que vous allez apprendre énormément de choses sur justement comment mieux voir les tops du market sur les cryptomonnaies, mieux voir sur quelle cryptomonnaie qui va monter juste après, qui vont vraiment péter. Et là, du coup, toi, tu les as au moment où c'est bien et tu les vends après à leur top. C'est vraiment le top. Et donc, pour ceux qui veulent la partie sur l'analyse technique, si vous avez déjà le système AWCE, vous pouvez m'envoyer un email ou je vais vous l'activer comme ça et vous pourrez avoir les accès à la formation de Scott qui explique ça en détail. Comme ça, vous pourrez être tranquille là-dessus. Alors, there is one question.
Sure.
What do you think of the low volume of this pump and gaps that haven't been filled under 20K?
Okay, that is a volume used to be an edge. About 2006, volume stopped being an edge. And volume is not an edge on the crypto market. I've done extensive testing on As
Le
far as
volume n'est plus. So it's not like important, you mean?
volume is important in only one situation, and mostly 95% of the time, volume correlates with candle size. Big candle, big volume. And let me show
OK.
you.
Donc, la plupart du temps, le volume va juste être associé à la taille de la bougie.
So volume used to be very important to markets, but it's not as important today because algo trading is much more prevalent. So now with algos doing most of the trading, volume is not as important as it used to be.
Okay. So now the volume is not as important as it used to be. Le volume n'est plus aussi important qu'avant.
Yeah, it's definitely not as important as it used to be.
C'est pas aussi important qu'avant. Voilà.
And it's very highly correlated with the size of the candle. So I don't use it anymore. I used to use it all the time. There's a couple of situations, like that's an oversimplification. There's times when it's very useful, but it's going to take me 10 minutes to talk about it. As far as opening gaps that have to be filled, that's an old wives' tale. It's like a superstition that gaps have to be filled.
Alors ça, c'est une superstition que les gaps doivent être remplis.
It's one of those bullshit technical analysis things that doesn't test. So I test everything, and that's one of the things that's bullshit about technical analysis.
Donc c'est quelque chose qu'il a testé et en fait c'est pas important là-dessus, mais c'est quelque chose qu'on verra en général dans l'analyse technique bullshit, quoi. All right. I'm just going to answer one question that is in French. Que conseilles-tu pour débuter ce temps-ci? What do you recommend to start now?
I would start with the large cap coins, either Bitcoin or Ethereum, probably half of each is most sensible. And I'd be planning on buying some altcoins in probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I wouldn't dump into alts yet. Maybe it looks good to me. As far as individual coins, Antoine knows much more than me. I'm terrible. I don't know anything.
De commencer du coup dans les grosses cryptos, donc les principales, Ethereum, Bitcoin et autres. Après, si tu veux te lancer, nous, n'oublie pas qu'on a les ateliers qui sont gratuits, qui sont dans les descriptions sur les vidéos. Et si tu veux plus d'accompagnement, nous avons aussi les formations Crypto Starter pour commencer, ou sinon Crypto Domination pour aller plus loin et avoir quelque chose dessus. Alors, JC, who asked the question about the gaps, say 80% filled, but I'm not sure I understand what it means. Like he asked, like
it's actually
80% to be filled.
It's actually higher than that, but as a tradable edge, it's not tradable because for a bunch of reasons that I don't think you want to hear the technical version, but
No.
yeah.
Donc c'est plus que 80, mais c'est pas un argument à prendre en compte pour décider de sa technique de trading. Le résumé, Clotilde, ça sera envoyé par email. Vous allez avoir le Google Doc que nous avons fait. Bienvenue à toi. Du coup, tu vas prendre petit à petit. Écoutez, merci à tous. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Scott, so much. I learned a lot, actually, and I feel like I can use some stuff now. So I'm really happy to have something that is easy to use and that's going to help me to see more like what's going on.
And we have to get away from like the superstition and like the into things that are actual rules that are like black and white,
Voilà, il faut des règles où c'est noir ou blanc et pas rentrer dans la superstition. OK, merci encore à tous si vous êtes encore là. Eh bien, mettez en commentaire, qu'est-ce qu'on va dire? Allez, on va mettre singe en commentaire si vous avez regardé jusqu'à la fin pour ceux qui sont sur le replay. En tout cas, c'était un plaisir. C'était Antoine de Rousseau de Bontueux avec Scott. Et eh bien, je vous retrouve dans les emails ou dans les prochaines vidéos. N'oubliez pas de mettre le pouce bleu et de vous abonner. Salut, ciao.